Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse video. I do apologize that my voice still sounds a bit low. I'm still coming off of a cold, but I just finished winning the Panda Cup number 6. This is the Invitational tournament hosted by Lewis the Panda. And I actually won the Panda Cup number 5 a couple months back. So I was re-invited back to defend my title, and I ended up winning. I came from loser bracket round 1 all the way to winning the entire thing. And at the grand finals, because it's lower, if you are in the loser bracket, you have to beat the winner bracket twice. So I managed to do that. And yeah, so I'm just going to go over the lineup, my thought process on bringing these decks. And I have some replay games for you at the end of this video. So I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just using replay games and I'll have commentary over them. But yeah, first of all, my lineup was Portalcraft, Haven, Sword. So Puppet, Portal, Summit, Haven, and Midrange Sword. For this Puppet deck, I made a video on this a couple of days ago. If you guys haven't checked it out, I recommend you check it out. It's a great video in my opinion. But yeah, Puppet Portal I found to be a pretty solid deck. A couple of days after the release of the expansion, so I decided to bring it. I didn't think that it really doesn't have too bad matchups. Sometimes you can run out gas if you get the wrong draws, but otherwise it's got Magnet Legacy, so it can deal with Swordcraft. This format was Last Hero Standing. If you don't know what it is, basically if you win with your deck, you keep playing it, and if you lose with that deck, you can't play it anymore. No ban. I actually forgot that there was no ban, but anyways, yeah, Portalcraft, decent against Sword because you got Magnet Legacy. It's good against slower decks because you have time to build up your puppets and you have to burst damage with your Noah and your Orcus. So this was kind of my counter deck to the slower decks out there. I ended up not playing Portal until the semifinals when it became best of 5. Before that, I stuck to Sword and Haven. But yeah, this was my deck, mainly for the slower matchups, but it's an overall good deck. All my decks are actually just overall good decks, not really targeting much. For this Havencraft list, I actually submitted this list over Dirt Rune. Originally I was going to play Dirt Rune, but my practice partners said that this Haven deck was actually really insane. So I trusted their word, submitted this Haven deck without even playing it before. So playing it blind, but it actually turned out to be really good because you get your Beastly Val, your Carapace, you get big bodies. You could swing for a lot of damage with your Summit Tempo and your Heavenly Knights. And there's just a lot of tempo with this deck. Of course, it's featuring a new card. All these decks that I'm showing today, I'll make future deck and gameplay videos in the upcoming week. I already did one for Portal, so I'm doing it for Haven and Swordcraft soon. So I'll talk more about this deck later on. But yeah, this deck overall just a good deck. Like I said, none of these decks have really polarizing matchups. Even though it is Last Hero Standing, I didn't decide to go with that in my lineup. Finally is my mid-range Sword. Not really mine. I took this deck off of SOS from Japan. He had an 86% win rate with this to Grandmaster, so I thought that it's gotta be a good deck, right? So I just took his deck, and Sword really pulled through for me at the end, especially in the grand finals. It reverse swept. If I were to make any changes, I would take out Darksaber Melissa for Council of the Card Knights, just because Melissa I found awkward a lot of times. But other than that, this deck is very strong. I think Sword is very strong right now in this meta. Even though all my decks are generally well-rounded, it doesn't have bad matchups, doesn't have really good matchups, I decided to go with Sword as my opener for most of the matchups. And that's mainly because Sword is just the most well-rounded deck, and it could beat any matchup and potentially just sweep other people's lineups, especially if you can win the mirror match. So yeah, this was my lineup. I can't really say much about the strategy, just because I just brought good decks, because it is really fresh. We had like 2 days to make decks before deck submission. I just wanted to bring the good decks, didn't want to try anything fancy, anything risky, just good decks, try and make good plays, and we got there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplays. Like I said, more videos I'll have a video for the Haven deck and the Sword deck later in the week. Hopefully my voice will get better by then. And thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on that notification so you know when new videos are up. give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. As always guys, I appreciate the support and thank you so much for watching my video.
So we got the Portograph versus Swordgraph going second here. Didn't really like this hand too much because the Miriam doesn't do anything if I don't have artifacts in my deck. And keeping 3 is usually not that good if you don't have a 2. So I went ahead and mauled it all away. Didn't really draw much of a good rehand, but see here, kind of a brick. So after Hamlin, my Fervent Soldier, which isn't ideal. Obviously, you want to copy your puppets or your artifacts at least. Here I wanted to clear the board while if I had played Fervent Soldier and he plays Mars, it's a bit awkward. I take a little bit of damage too. I wasn't afraid of him just dropping Mars on my empty board because I did have an evil point here. Also, if I played Fervent Soldier last turn, I wouldn't have drawn anything from my deck. So I was a bit greedy there in trying to save my Fervent Soldiers. So he plays the Gawain. That was actually a really clutch draw. Now I was able to get an artifact into my deck and take it out with the Fervent Soldier, and also evolve the artifact so that I could trade and not trade in my my 4/5 if I had evolved the Soldier. I do overdraw here, but it's not that big of a deal. So he plays Arthur King Knight. He actually only pulled 3 followers from that. So he either drew the others, or he was only playing 2 bears maybe, or he probably has a bear in his hand. So he couldn't get the full value, which kind of sucks for him, not having the ward up. Here, because Sword doesn't have like Albert anymore, they don't have huge bursts, I decided it was okay to leave up this Arthur for 1 turn and take 4. The only real punish was if he had the Sky Fortress that was reduced by Gawain as well. But I didn't get punished there, luckily for me. And now I believe I cleared this board using Spinaria. That's why Spinaria is actually really useful sometimes, and I really like it in the puppet deck. Yep, so we get the full clear. I decided to use 2 puppets in my hand instead because I have the puppet strings, so I wanted to keep my artifact alive. So it wasn't that strong of a turn for him. He just tried to fight back with the board. I still have followers on the board that sticks. Puppet strings here is really good because I can clear the board. I actually thought that I had 1 more artifact in my deck. That's why I played the Fervent Soldier. So I miscounted. I would have played the Icarus and the Flower Doll instead. But yeah, I make that mistake more often than I should sometimes. I go for the Orcus here just because the game's starting to get really grindy, so I think that he can't deal with my Orcus. Because he used so much, like what card could actually deal with the Orcus? He has to be playing something that's like not commonly found, like a heroic advent, like the Rush with 610 or something, like 6-8. But I didn't put him on having that. Paid off. I actually get the polymerization on my puppets, which is really cool. First time seeing that. Next game is Haven Mirror. I thought this hand was really good just because the Kur's out. I'm going second, so I go evolve my Cujo on turn 4. So I just kept everything here. Start off with the Summit Temple. Maybe I should have went with the Globe. I just kind of played it really fast. I saw I drew 2 1-cost amulets, and so I drew 2 Summit Temples. But starting off with the Summit Temple is not bad. If I had drawn into Snow White as well, will help me trade. This game becomes like a very amulet heavy battle. I do end up drawing a 3rd Summit Temple, so I use this turn basically just getting rid of cycling my hand. Next turn's not bad for me because I get the Tiger. So he's actually developing quite a strong board with the double Carapace, but I have the Cujo in my hand so I could deny the evil on his Snow White, which doesn't really matter because the first Carapace pops, he can evolve something, pop the second one. But evolving the Cujo here, it's actually really hard for Haven to deal with his board, just because I have a lot of health, so he can't Cujo to 2-4-1 me. So he just goes for the deer here and trades into my Cujo. But it's a quite strong swing turn here for the Haven. I'd be in so much trouble if I didn't have the tea time here. So I get to kill off 2 followers and push 4 damage. He has his tea time to respond to me, which is unfortunate, but I have my second tea time, so I could react to his board. In this mirror match, it actually seemed quite useful to go second, just so you can have that extra evil, because Haven has really good evils. They have Kojos, they have tea times. And you really want to evolve those followers to gain an advantage. And just having that 1 extra evil just puts me ahead of the game here. Jewel Princess and Scripture, so he's not really developing much. He played 2 1-2s. And I just slam down Heavenly Knight, because why not? I forced him to have an answer to this. I hit him for 7. And Havens now, with what they lost, they don't really have too many good cards that could deal with this Heavenly Knight easily. Mainly they lost the Tribunal. So he has to trade everything in. He got the Judge of Retribution, so he is able to deal with it, barely. I top deck the second Heavenly Knight and just slam it down again, because he had quite a bit of a trouble dealing with the first one. Might as well play the second one, put him at 2. I'm also getting a Tin Soldier next turn. So I'm just constantly putting pressure on. He can't develop an Aegis if he's playing Aegis in his deck. He was able to fully clear the Heavenly Knight. If he couldn't, I could have just played my Jean and healed my Heavenly Knight back up so I could kill him. My opponent only had the Jean there, so that was my time where I could refill my board with really sticky followers with high health. So I'm still putting a lot of pressure on him. And I saved the beacon so I can have that AoE damage if I need to, which comes in handy here. So we got Sword versus Rune. Dirt Rune has been picking up in popularity. People are starting to figure out that Dirt Rune's still very powerful. And it's a pretty decent matchup against Sword. But I do think there's a lot of things the Sword player could do that could play around what Dirt Rune has. Such as the Black Queen. If you play Black Queen on a board where your opponent wants to Levi, or right on turn 6 when you have a board so your opponent can't Levi and gain a tempo swing, is actually so powerful. And Mutagenic Ball isn't really a good answer for Dirt Rune versus Sword, because yes, they can remove all the damage on the board, but they leave the rats, which does a lot of damage as well. And oftentimes, the Rune player can't rat Mutagenic Ball and gain tempo at the same time. At best, they play like Wizard of Oz, Bolt, and then you could just push with the face damage with the rats. Basically, how the Dirt Rune has to win this matchup is get a head on board, get a lot of chip damage in, and finish them off with an endgame burn. Yeah, that sounds obvious, but it's actually really hard for Dirt Rune to do this against mid-range Sword, because mid-range Sword is really good at gaining board right now. Like, there's just so many cards in mid-range Sword right now that gives me a lot of followers, like the Cavalier and the new legendary Celia. Like, I keep putting a lot of stuff on my board here. This is like the one turn where Levi becomes quite powerful, but not strong enough because the Celia is out of the Levi range by evolving here. So if he had played Levi, he would Levi and have to evolve into the Celia, and then I could deal with the Levi pretty easily. So he just goes ahead and uses a Mutagenic Ball. Like I said, not that good here, because yes, he transformed all my followers, but I'm pushing a lot of damage on him. And because I'm ahead on the board, I'm also ahead on the life, so these rats are actually helping me more than it is helping him. There's the Levi. I'm not sure if he drew into it or decided not to play it last turn. I'm assuming he just drew into it and didn't have it last turn. And what a way to refill than Arthur Night King. There's some debate to evolving the Hedgehog here to play out of a second Levi top deck. However, it would not be good if he had a Nair Mutagenic Ball, which he did have here. Here I just decided to put him at 1. I can't find lethal through my Luminous Knight, just because I don't have enough board space, unfortunately. Play this Melissa, doesn't really do much, but just in case my opponent has some kind of random card, like with Storm or something, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, the rats just kill him.
Daremo ここから出られない